seal it. You're like an ocean without land, not a single grain of sand. I'm drifting on it, so cold.
Hey loves, my name is Brianna K. Welcome to this ultimate meal prep, cook with me, grocery haul is how we're gonna get things started here today. But I'm gonna show you everything I just ordered from the grocery store, just got delivered to the door. And then I'm gonna show you some meal prep in this video, along with a ton of other recipes you're gonna get to cook with me. So I hope you enjoy this video and it gives you a ton of ideas of meals that you can prep ahead for your family or meals that you can cook for your family. Okay, so this grocery haul is rather large because my husband's birthday is this weekend. So there are some extra things that I got. I just got some fresh flowers since we're stuck in the house here, and he requested, instead of a birthday cake, I was like, what kind of birthday cake do you want me to make for you? And he said, can we just get one of those cookie cakes from the store? Even though they didn't really listen to me because I asked for a 4th of July decorated one because that's his birthday. And we just got, I guess, a birthday one, but it'll still work. And I have a lot of berries to make some 4th of July fruit salad. So I have strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, bananas. I learned how to pronounce this from you guys in the one video where I showed you how I cut with the cookie cutter stars in this, like you slice it really thin. It is called jicama, but it is spelled with a J. So I didn't realize, I think it must be like a Spanish word. So jicama. Sorry if I'm still not saying that properly, but I'm just going off of what you wrote in the comments, which is really helpful. Thank you. And I have a mango. This has been such a pregnancy craving for me. I have green onions and tomato for my bacon cheddar taco dip, which is actually in my first Ultimate Cook With Me, if you want that recipe. And then I have apples and spaghetti squash, lettuce for salad, cucumber, watermelon. And one of the things I'm going to prep for the week is we're going to make some pizzas on this pizza crust because it's something easy that you can freeze or just have in the fridge for a few days for lunches. I also have some tortillas. Quesadillas is going to be one of the meals I'm going to make. I'm getting over my chicken aversion finally, so I figured we could do some chicken. Actually no, the chicken is for, I'm going to do like a taco bowl, chicken taco bowl, and the tortillas for the quesadillas. I got some pulled pork, so I was either going to do like pulled pork nachos or pulled pork quesadillas. But I guess I could use the chicken for that too. And then I got some sweet Hawaiian buns because for Adam's birthday, he requested for his birthday dinner burgers. So I have the beef right there, and he wanted bacon and blue cheeseburgers. So got that for him. And then I also have the cream cheese and the sour cream for the bacon taco dip. And I decided to try these. I've never tried them before. These Del Monte super fruits. I feel like I want fruit all the time in this pregnancy, so I thought those would be good little snacks just to change it up. And I got some not shredded, but sliced cracker Colby Jack cheese. That's a huge pregnancy snack for me too. I have some corn for those taco bowls. The kids love the Bob Evans macaroni and cheese. That's what, I don't want to like knock all of this stuff off of here. The Bob Evans macaroni and cheese is there. And I decided to go the easy route. My grandma loves this pulled pork. She told me about it, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it instead of making pulled pork. Save some time. And I have my Greek yogurt. This Chobani kind is my favorite. And my Luna bars, I also love these as a snack. And some grape jelly. Adam requested, the kids like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches too, but Adam's been eating those a lot since we're home on quarantine for lunch. This is one of my favorite soups, this chunky chicken corn chowder. I want to try to find a homemade recipe for that, but I love it. Also some black olives for the taco bowls. Adam and the kids love Sun Chips, so those are for them. The Tostitos are for me. The restaurant style Tostitos. They're like more salty, I feel like, than any of the other Tostitos. I want that so bad this pregnancy. And the salsa for my taco dip as well. And that's what all these cheeses are for. So I have taco dip cheese, more cheese for like the tacos, bowls and quesadillas, and then the mozzarella for the pizzas. And I love that creamy melt kind of cheese. Really good when I cook. The kids like chocolate milk and white milk mixed together. I have my decaf coffee, popcorn. We are always making popcorn in our house. for movies. And then Adam also wanted waffle fries to go with the burgers for his birthday, so I got those. And then this green juice naked smoothie for the kids. So that is our grocery haul for this next week ahead. Okay, I just set out everything for meal prepping tonight, and I'll just go through quickly kind of my gear for meal prepping. So I have some berries here that I need to wash, and then I'm gonna put them in these are like by XOXO. They're like stay fresh containers. And then I have these Pyrex glass containers that I'm gonna use to store half of the pizza that I'm gonna make for lunches this week. And then I'm gonna make this entire mix of pancakes, and I'm gonna put half of them in here and then the other half in these freezer bags. The same thing with the pizza, so you can freeze half of it to use for later. And then I just have a couple of veggies I'm gonna prep. So I'm gonna slice up these peppers. The kids love to have those with lunch. And then I'm gonna dice up these green onions because I'm gonna use them in a few recipes later on this week. I'm gonna do all the berries first because I can store all of these together.
Through all these years, I wanted you.
And next, we're gonna rinse off the strawberries. I have to say, that's just something that annoys me about having to do the grocery delivery, because I feel like I keep on getting produce that has mold on it, and I don't know, you know, if like you can go to the store and pick out your produce yourself, you can kind of pick out what looks the freshest, and it just feels like, I'm sure the grocery workers are stressed and just throwing whatever they can into carts as quickly as possible. But it does just kind of bum me out that I'm like, I feel like I haven't gotten good produce for basically all of quarantine. I was gonna say for a long time, for all of quarantine.
Do you feel the same? Your eyes, they kinda say, through all these years, I was meant to be something else than friends.
All right, strawberries are all sliced up, so they're ready to go for fruit salad or the sides of kids' lunches all week. And then I was trying to let these berries air dry a little bit. The oven's beeping at me. I turned it on to preheat for the pizza. I don't know if they'll all fit in here. Might have to get another container. Okay, they all fit. Okay, so all of my berries are now prepped in their containers, so I can pop those in the fridge. Let me clean this off, and then I'm gonna prep my veggies.
All of my life started from zero with nothing behind. Feels so right. This feels so right. This world gets easier with a reason and rhyme, and it feels so right. Yeah, I've been through changes all of my life.
All right, I'm gonna get started on the pizza so I can put it in the oven while I get to making the pancakes. Where did they go? And I'm gonna spray just the tin foil that I put over this tray with some cooking spray. And I'm using one of these pre-made pizza crust from Pillsbury. Okay, and once I have the crust on this, it does have to pre-bake for about 8 minutes, but I'll show you something I do that I feel like oomph up the crust a little bit. So I just got one of those like brushes, and I'm gonna take my olive oil and pour just a little bit into a bowl. So then with the brush, I can brush the outside of the crust with the olive oil. that olive oil is there, I'm gonna take some garlic salt, and I also got some Italian seasoning, and I'm just gonna sprinkle this then over the top of the olive oil, and it makes the crust taste so good. Let's see, so it just has that olive oil and seasoning around the outside so that the crust is really, really tasty. But I have to pre-bake this for 8 minutes, and then we'll do the toppings once that's
I didn't call you off for another. I didn't cross the line for the bottle. Take me back. Take me back. I know I messed it up like your father. You know you shouldn't care, but you bother.
All right, so now that the crust is pre-baked, I'm just gonna top it with some tomato sauce, or go on the traditional route for this pizza.
Don't go, 'cause all I need is right here. With you, it feels like everything.
Now that the sauce is on, I will put on my mozzarella cheese. I really like this creamy milk kind. I think I mentioned that during the grocery haul, but I feel like it does bubble up really nicely.
With you, it feels like everything is so real.
And my kids love black olives on their pizza, like mother, like daughter and son, I guess. So I'm putting black olives on this, but of course you can do whatever sauce and toppings. Like if you prefer a white sauce pizza, you could use a jar of Alfredo sauce for this. And if you want to try different cheeses, I know like feta on pizza sometimes can be really, really good, especially like feta and black olives for more Greek style pizza. But okay, it's topped. I'm gonna put it back into the oven until it is finished baking. And once it's cooled, I can do half in my Pyrex and the other half in a freezer bag. I just realized I forgot to say, it should go in for another 6 to 10 minutes, just depending on how melted the cheese is and if the crust looks browned enough or not.
So real. With you, it feels like everything.
Oh my god, it looks and smells so good. It looks awesome. So we'll let this cool while I make the pancakes. And we will be done with meal prep for tonight.
So real. With you.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the cooled off batch of pancakes into one of these bags so that they can go in the freezer. And if you do this, all you have to do is pop them into the microwave, just depending on how many you're making, anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, and they're unfrozen. So it just makes breakfast in the morning, especially if your kids are pancake monsters like mine. Like I swear, they can go through so many pancakes. Sometimes I wonder if they get it from my dad, because my dad used to tell me that he was one of 4. So him and his brother and 2 sisters used to have pancake eating contests. And I think he said he won it. I want to say he ate like 36 or 38 pancakes, and his brother was only like 2 pancakes behind him. So, I mean, for context, I think that's about how many pancakes are here. So, Dad, you could really pack them in, man. But this can go into the freezer then. Again, it's so easy to reheat. Same thing then. I have this batch that then I can put in the microwave just for a couple of mornings this week to make breakfast a lot easier. And that's what's so nice. If you can meal prep, I'm gonna tell you, I don't meal prep every single week. There are just sometimes where it doesn't work out that way, when like the groceries get delivered, that I can do all of this that day. So some weeks it is just making meals as I go, or a lot of recipes just need to be freshly made. But the nice thing about it is you kind of knock out a lot, so that those mornings then when they want pancakes, the kitchen isn't a mess. So it's like a bunch of less kitchens to clean up, because if this is 3 breakfasts, that's 3 kitchen cleanups. I don't have to do that morning. Same thing with like the pizza for lunch. It just makes it so much easier from like an overall kitchen maintenance perspective. So don't stress yourself out if you can't have like all this meal prepped food every single week, but it does help a lot. And I think especially, you know, whether you are a working mom, stay-at-home mom, right now, majority of us are still just at home in some capacity, because I know even like our neighbors, we've just been talking when they're going on walks, and they're like, I'm still not back in the office because daycare won't accept my kids. Like daycares are only accepting essential workers' kids, is what they've said around here in our area. So I just know we're all looking for sometimes shortcuts or ways to like minimize the cleaning, because when you're doing breakfast, lunch, dinner at home, it just makes everything so much more of a mess to clean up. So I just appreciate making life just a little bit easier. So as much as I do enjoy cleaning, it does get boring when you have to clean the same kitchen over and over and over again multiple times throughout the day. Okay, I just cut my pizza, and clearly not very well. Sorry, when it was like right up against the side of the pan there, it made it a little more difficult to get those edges. That's why I like these Pyrex containers too, because for the pizza, you can totally put this in the microwave, and these containers go right in the microwave too. They're also oven safe, so if you make something like pizza, and let's just say, you know, I only put this much in, I could pop it right into the oven and have it bake up, you know, really nice. Again, I know my husband likes putting his reheated pizza in the oven because he likes it to be crispier and not like, it does, it can get a little soggier when you put it in the microwave. But there's my pizza in this container. That can go in the fridge. And then I'm gonna cut the rest, put it in a Ziploc bag too, and that can go in the freezer. And the same thing, I can put that in the microwave, or I can put that back in the oven then, whether it's on this or another oven safe pan. I cannot talk today. Tray, pan, I don't even know. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever you can safely put into the oven, that's how you can reheat this pizza. Here's a very simple summer dinner recipe that I'm gonna use some of the city chicken leftovers for. But I'm gonna make a spaghetti squash Alfredo with leftover spinach and bacon side dish that I made yesterday. Cause that will mix in so nice with the Alfredo sauce. But you've just gotta cut your spaghetti squash. And then once that's cut in half, I'm just gonna spray my tin foil with some of this olive oil pan and place these face down and pop them in the oven. Just gonna put these in at 425 for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'll scrape the seeds out and make the actual Alfredo from. Okay, so I'm gonna let the spaghetti squash cool, and I'm just gonna get started on the sauce. I'm just gonna use a jar of creamy Alfredo. And then this is leftovers from yesterday's dinner, but it is just frozen spinach with some crumbled bacon in it. And I'm just gonna add this to the Alfredo sauce. And then I'm just gonna mix this into the Alfredo, so it's a spinach, bacon, Alfredo sauce. And I'm just gonna let this heat up a little bit here, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna fix the spaghetti squash. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is just scoop out where any of the seeds are in the spaghetti squash. So just don't want any seeds when you're eating this. And make sure these have cooled off a little. They're actually still a little hot. I mean, I can touch them, but just don't burn yourself when you're making these. Not worth it. Okay, and once all the seeds are scooped out, you can start pulling a little bit from the sides of your spaghetti squash, and you can see why it gets its name. It looks like little spaghetti noodles. So I'm just going to scrape these away a little bit. You really don't have to do this in this step though if you don't want to, but I'm just doing it to kind of show you how the spaghetti squash does look. Okay, so I've scraped those, and I'm gonna kind of shape them back so that they are a little more scoopable bowl format. And I'm gonna take my spinach bacon Alfredo sauce, I heat it up a little bit, and just spoon these right into the spaghetti squash.
I'm the best thing that has ever happened to you. Here's your time to shine.
And then I'm gonna take some mozzarella cheese and just sprinkle this all over the top of my spaghetti squash. And I had a little bit of crumbled bacon left over, so I'm just gonna add that to the top of these as well. And I'm gonna pop these back into the oven on broil until the cheese gets all gooey, bubbly, and brown. So even though the kids could eat the spaghetti squash, I always make them regular pasta and just use the sauce then on the pasta for them. But here is the final spaghetti squash before I actually put it on the plate, but it looks so good. I cannot wait to eat this. And it's really good if you're trying to do like low carb or keto. I feel like spaghetti squash is the route you want to take.
Every breath we take, you're falling. Every breath that we're taking, with every step you're falling in love. Every move that I'm making.
So I'm gonna try to get over the chicken aversion I've been having with this recipe. Well, my family might just be the ones eating it. But I'm gonna make some teriyaki shish kebabs. So I have this Lawry's teriyaki marinade, and I got the chicken tenderloins because they're more like chicken strips. And I'm just gonna slice these into cubes and put them in here to marinate in the fridge all day. So now that the chicken is cubed, I'm just going to pour the teriyaki marinade over the top. And close this up, give it a good shake up, and I'll refrigerate this for the rest of the afternoon. And I do have about half the bottle, even a little more than that still. So what you can do is use this to brush the marinade onto the actual skewers then when they're cooking, so that the veggies and the pineapple get a little bit of the coating too. You can save this for another recipe. Or if you were to be making a huge batch of the chicken, you're having a summer party or something like that, and you use the whole bottle, you can just pour out whatever marinade is left in the container and heat it on the stove until it's boiling, and that way it will like make the marinade okay for you to brush on the skewers when you're cooking it, because you don't want to get food poisoning. So if you run out of your marinade, make sure you boil whatever marinade is actually on the meat. Yeah?
Somebody's coming, Gusty.
Who? What's happening?
Look it.
Oh my gosh, I have a little princess here. What's her name?
Princess Belle.
Princess Belle?
Even Mommy,
Yeah.
I dressed her up.
Landon gave you your makeover?
Yeah, what are you making?
I'm making chicken teriyaki
Can
skewers.
I help?
They're already in the fridge.
Okay.
You can help later though, okay? And someone asked me in the last video where I got this tray from. It was from Walmart, honestly, over 5 years ago. Like I had this when I lived in our like first house. So it was a while ago, but it was from Walmart. So they might have something similar like that again. But I need to cut up the pineapple. I'm only gonna use a quarter of the red onion. I don't need a ton. And I'm gonna cut up some pepper just for mine and the kids' kebabs because Adam only wants onion and pineapple and meat on his. He's my pickiest eater of our crew.
Baby, let me move with your body, baby.
Okay, and then for the pineapple, if you ever wondered how to cut one of these, you want to cut the crown off first, and then you cut it into quarters, and then that's the easiest way to remove the hard core and cut the fruit away from the skin. I love you too, Bee. You having fun watching your video? They're watching the like Disney nature dolphin video on Disney Plus while I cook today. Okay, so once the pineapple is in quarters like this, then it's really easy just to stand it up and slice the core away from the fruit.
Just a couple steps from
I probably only need half of the pineapple for this, by the way, so I'm just gonna save the rest. I'll cut it up and have it prepped for something else later.
take me to you. Yeah, I'll be waiting.
All right, so for these kebabs, I'm gonna put together the ones I would eat first with the peppers, but you just wanna get alternating between the veggie, the meat, and different colors, because then it looks so pretty on these skewers as it cooks. All right, all the kebabs are made, even for the picky eaters. And Adam lit the grill out there so we can cook these babies up. And then to go with the kebabs, I have this teriyaki style rice. So the whole dinner's gonna be teriyaki themed, but it has peas and carrots. And I've never used this kind before. It was something that actually the grocery store substituted in for, usually I get like boxed rice pilaf and they sub this in, so we're gonna try it. It says you just put it in the microwave for 90 seconds and it's cooked. So. Okay, so the kebabs are grilled. They look so good. Cannot wait to eat these. Okay, so here's what you need for this city chicken recipe. This is a city chicken package of meat our grocery store sells, but you will just need pork that then you can chop into about 1-inch cubes. And you're gonna take the piece of pork, dip it in the water. You can do one here. So the pork, dip it in the water, then put it in the flour mixture. And once it's fully coated, this is egg and just a little splash of water that I whisked together. Coat that in the egg wash, and then you're gonna wanna put it in the breadcrumb mixture, add a little bit of salt and pepper to this, and then make sure it's fully coated in the breadcrumbs and set aside on a plate until all of the pork is fully coated, and we'll cook it. Okay, and once your chicken is fully coated, you want to take your sticks and you're just gonna make little city chicken kebabs, basically, of 3 to 4 pieces of chicken per stick. Okay, now we can get ready to cook these up in the frying pan. Okay, so I have this frying pan turned on medium, and I always drop that cap, and I'm just going to fill this up, yes, with olive oil, and let that get heated, and then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter to that oil before I add in the meat.
I used to let it in.
Okay, now that that's heated up and sizzling, I'm gonna start adding my skewers. And I just wanna make sure then that these get browned on all sides.
But it will ricochet, I won't let it bite. I will look at you and tell you that I'm alright. Like a ricochet, it will come back to you. Let me tell you, no, because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurry, my skin's getting thicker each day. Don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. No, because my eyes.
Okay, so once you drain all that grease out of the pan, you wanna add a cup of chicken broth back to the pan. And then you want to put all of your city chicken back into the pan as well. And then you want to let this simmer. And once it's simmering, you're going to cover it and cook it on low for 1.5 to 2 hours. Okay, so we've got it simmering. I'm gonna turn it down to low and let this cook. And then this next recipe is one of my favorite sides to have with the city chicken, but it is spinach and bacon. I'm only gonna use about half the pound of bacon, but I'm just gonna slice it super thin. First, we're gonna cook up this bacon.
Say something I don't know. I wanna know you better.
And I just have the spinach on medium-low right now, just to allow that to heat. And once the bacon's fully done, I'm just gonna sprinkle half of these bacon crumbles over the top of the spinach. Okay, so now I'm just going to take, again, about half of the bacon crumbles and add it into the spinach. Give it a stir. And I'm gonna cover this, and I can just turn this down to low until we're ready to actually eat the city chicken. Okay, so the spinach and bacon is good. Just giving it a little stir there. I'm gonna cover it until we're ready to eat. And then for the city chicken, I'm gonna remove the pieces of chicken from the pan. You can see the breading is like so good. That's my favorite part of this, is how the breading cooks so nicely after being in this pan for, again, if you can do 2 hours, then it's like super, super tender, but it looks amazing. Take some of the breading that fell off, just put it, me too. But yeah, be careful as you take these out of the pan, because sometimes they do just want to fall apart because they're so tender. So do this gingerly. And then you can either add flour mixed with water to make it more of a traditional gravy, or the way my mom oftentimes did it, you can add like a cream of celery soup or cream of chicken or cream of mushroom to this to then make a gravy. So I'm gonna serve it with mashed potatoes too. I went the lazy hack and got the Bob Evans like pre-made mashed potatoes just because I think they taste amazing. So My grams are still the best, but this is kind of an easy route then to make some gravy. And I'm gonna turn up the heat on this just a little bit to get it bubbling and help break down the soup. And once that is all mixed together nicely, we can make the plates. You can also use a whisk, especially if you do the flour and water route. You want to use your whisk so you have that flour and water already mixed up before you can add it to this. But this can get everything nice and mixed together so you have no lumps.
All night, I'll sing until my lungs.
So here is the plated city chicken. We just turned Leon and he said he's starving. But it is so good with the mashed potatoes and gravy and spinach and bacon. So let's eat. Okay, for this steak fettuccine recipe, you will need steak that is sliced into 1-inch cubes. You will need some sliced peppers. I did green and orange, and then I sliced half of a red onion. And you will need some fettuccine noodles and some Alfredo sauce, and I got the Bertolli organic Alfredo. And I got 2 jars. Then for topping it, this is totally optional, but I'm gonna be sprinkling some mozzarella on the top and get some herbs from my herb garden outside. So before I cook my steak, I'm just gonna drizzle some olive oil over the top of it, and then I have some garlic salt. I'm just gonna sprinkle that all over it to season it, and just this around so it fully coats the meat. And then I'm going to add this steak to a pan that is on medium heat.
Don't you need to? 'Cause I need you. Yes, so come.
So once your steak is cooked up, I like mine to be a little bit browned. I like how that looks. In that same pan, don't rinse it out or anything like that. Leave those like nice steak juices that are in there. And you're gonna wanna add all of your veggies to cook in that pan. If you feel like it needs a little bit of extra olive oil, go ahead and add that before you add in the veggies. You could use just a little, it doesn't need much. And I just decided, I didn't say this in the beginning, I'm gonna add a scoop of chopped garlic. I always have this on hand, but I'm gonna add that to these veggies so it gets a nice garlic flavor too.
I'm staring into your blue eyes. We don't need nobody else.
So my noodles are cooking in that big pot, and now that the veggies have cooked down, I don't want them like super wilted and cooked down, if that makes sense, but I wanted them like cooked down so that they're tender, I guess is the proper word I can say. I'm going to add in my jars of Alfredo to this now. So I'm just gonna mix all of the veggies into this Alfredo sauce and turn it down to low while the noodles keep cooking over there. Okay, my pasta is all done cooking. So I'm gonna add this right to the pan of sauce. And you just want the noodles to get well coated in that delicious veggie Alfredo sauce. Okay, so I put the pasta on the plate and just sprinkled some of the steak on top, sprinkled some mozzarella cheese on top, and now I'm just gonna take some of my fresh veggies. I used basil and parsley and oregano and chop that up and sprinkle that on here. And voila, this is steak Alfredo.
Why don't we say that it's too late for us now?
So for dinner tonight, I'm just gonna make burgers, and I have some sour cream cucumbers that I'm gonna add on the side, and I figured I would share that recipe with you because I shared my like vinegar cucumber recipe in another video, because I just feel like it's such a good summer side dish is crunchy cucumbers. Maybe it's also because I'm pregnant. but the sour cream cucumbers are a fun way to kind of change it up too. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I take a little bit of the cucumber skins off. You can completely de-skin your cucumbers if you don't like how the skins kind of give it a little more thicker of a texture, but I leave just a little bit on to add some green color, or you can leave them all on. It really is up to you and your preference. And then I just want to slice these in very thin slices. I'm gonna put all of my sliced cucumbers into a bowl. And then I'm gonna scoop in about half a cup of sour cream. I'm gonna add in a little bit of salt and some pepper. And then a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And about half a tablespoon of sugar. And you want to mix that all together so that the cucumbers are good and coated. So that is how they look, all finished. And seriously, it's just such a good, cool, crunchy summer side dish. If you have fresh dill, you could definitely add that to this too, but I never add the dill. I don't particularly care for it.